What's up, YouTube? It's HD. I got a good story time for you today. I'm taking this video today in a different direction of what I usually do. I'm going to tell you a story of the time that I drove my car into a probation officer's car while I was on probation. All right, so this story goes back about 10 years. I'm 32 now. I believe this was around when I was between 21 and 22, something like that. Shit's a little foggy. I was on probation for a previous case. I mean, it hadn't been maybe 3 months in of probation, probably. And I was still fucking up. Like, I quit smoking weed at that point, but I was still trying to do everything that didn't show up in my system by the time I had to go piss for my PO. So that being said, I was still drinking pretty much every day. I was still doing drugs like Percocets, Xanax, cocaine, anything really that got out of my system quick enough that wasn't weed and made me feel good. Adderall, whatever. So there, this was, I was hanging out with two friends. Let's call them, their names, I don't think they're gonna see this and whatever, but let's call them Casey and Edwin. All right. So Casey is a female, but she's a lesbian, but she's masculine. I probably shouldn't say the term, but it starts with a D, ends with a YKE. So she's more, you know, all right. But that's my homie, right? And Edwin, I don't know him as good, but we've been chilling for a little while at this point. All right. So that night we had been heavily drinking during when we were cliff jumping at a place called Devil's Pool, right near Philly. Is it in Philly? I can't remember if it's in the city. It is technically in the city, I'm pretty sure. But Devil's Pool it's a nickname for a big old pond that has a bunch of cliffs, and a waterfall that people jump off of with their shoes on, and it's a good old time. It is a lot of fun. I ain't gonna lie. And people go there to drink, smoke weed, whatever, play music, have a good time, you know. So this time we was we already came back from that, pretty sure. Came back from that. Already changed and stuff like that. I don't even know what we were planning to do now at this point. We had drank maybe, I think we finished the bottle of E&J VSOP between 3 people. So, and like a bunch of beers. So, but we was with some chicks before and all that, whatever. But then when it was just me, the homies, the chicks we had already split up for the night and whatever. And this is and it's hard to tell this story to the greatest detail because I was so fucked up at this point in my life. I'm pretty sure I did have Percocets in my system that night as well. So I was nice and opiated, I should say. And so things are blurry of why we were going back out of our neighborhood. And so we're coming down this hill. There's stop signs, and then there's a main road. And I made it like 4 blocks, like making the stops, whatever, just driving, very intoxicated, but I was making it. And then when I went to make a left turn onto the main road, for some reason I didn't stop at that stop sign. The most important fucking stop sign that I should have stopped at, I didn't stop at. I was so messed up. I don't know if it was just being careless and trying to rush, Not seeing anybody coming. Just a mix between just being careful. Like, I really was just being the worst version of myself at this point in my life. So this was about 1 in the morning, maybe. I go to make a left turn. So picture me making a left turn and then somebody else coming from my right trying to make a left turn into the street that I'm on. As he's making that 45-degree turn, I do mine right into him, plowed into him. And I'm talking like I didn't even fully come to a stop and then take off. Like, I rolled all the way through the stop. So I was going at least like 20, 25 miles per hour. Doesn't sound that fast, but when another guy's going the same amount of miles per hour on a turn, and you just have nothing but momentum, it was a nice hard hit. I don't remember seeing him, obviously, and I just remember my first reaction was, what the fuck? Where did he come from? You know what I mean? And then I had to double take, like, all right, hold on. I had a stop sign. I had a stop sign. I'm wrong. I was at least not too intoxicated to realize that. I was still had some type of self-awareness about me. So my immediate jumping out of the car, I'm like, oh my God, man, I'm so fucking sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see you. I don't know. I didn't. And he's already like, what the fuck? Like, he had to get out of the other side of his passenger side door because his door wasn't opening. And I'm talking the whole side of his car is mangled, man. It's drivable, but it's mangled. And he is livid, understandably. First thing he says is, I know y'all lit. I know y'all fucked up too, huh? Y'all turned and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, please don't call the cops, man. I'm like, please don't call the cops, man. He's like, why the fuck shouldn't I? He's like, you just ran in. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. You know what I mean? I'll give you my insurance. You know what I'm saying? I'm so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying not to tell him why I'm so freaked out. But he's like, see, if you wasn't drunk. And I'm like, it's not even that, man. I was like, this, you know, if I go to jail, man, I'm not getting out for a while. Like, I'll be fucked. You know what I mean? He's like, what do you mean by that? If you just get a DUI, your life ain't over. I'm like, nah, I know it's not over, but I'm on probation, man. Like, I cannot get arrested. I can't have police contact, especially this. I just ran into somebody's car. You know what I mean? I ran the stop sign. I'm drunk as shit. I'm high. I got drugs in my system. They're drunk. And he's like, oh yeah? Huh. Crazy. I'm a PO. Bro, when he said that shit, my heart sank. I'm talking about, I sobered up like that. I didn't even feel drunk anymore. And I mean, I was already getting there because of the, you know what I mean? Like, the whole, it definitely spiked my adrenaline to the point where it killed my buzz. But I'm talking sobered the shit out of me when he said that. He looked at me, oh, you on probation? That's why you work? Huh, crazy. I'm a PO. I take that information and I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, he's like, where are you on probation at? I'm like, Montgomery County, where we're at. He's like, oh, I'm in Bucks. And so that tells me automatically there's no chance in him really knowing my PO. Like, you know what I mean? If they're in the same county, they might not even know each other because there's two or three different offices now up there. Whatever. So he tells me that. And when he tells me that, at one point, Edwin walks away. Edwin just gets the fuck out of there. He walks home. We're in walking distances of our houses still. You know, he's a couple blocks up and shit like that. So he just dips. Kenzie, oh shit, I had to break real quick. I'm fucking Kenzie. Oh damn it! I just messed her name. Casey. I'm sorry, Casey. Nobody knows her real name because that's not even her real name that I just said. But Casey was hanging out with me, was making sure I was good or whatever. Even though I'm not. I'm clearly not. At some point, this probation officer and her, the guy I hit with my car, she's defending my actions for whatever reason, ready to square up with this man. So, like, we're so drunk. She's so out of her mind. She's so unself-aware that I am in the wrong, and she is about to, and she's acting like this man's in the wrong for confronting me and being pissed and yelling. Because you're, who the fuck you talking to? I'm like, no, he has every right to be pissed. And this is me in my drunk state of mind. I'm like, no, he has chill. He has every right to be pissed. And at one point I had to get between them because they were about to square up. Straight like that. And that died down. And then he's really like, I don't know what made this man not call the cops right away. Because there's nothing I could do to stop him from pulling out his fucking phone, calling the police. And this was about a 20-minute ordeal, 15, 20-minute ordeal where a cop could have rode by on that main road at any time. And I don't know how, because they be out at that time. So guy introduces himself as Dre. I won't give his full name. I know his full name. Dre tells me, go get your insurance. And I already took a picture of your license plate, so you better not try to pull off. And I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that, man. We live, because it turns out, he's making a left turn into the road I'm coming off of in my neighborhood. Turns out my man lives right around the corner from me. Literally. I could walk down my back alleyway, turn left, half a block, and I'm at his house. That's how close he lived to me. So my man Dre says, I live around the corner from you, man. You could find me anyway. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, all good. So we exchange information. Like I said, I apologize so many times, man. And he's like, he calms down. He calms down. He says, it's not the end of the world. I mean, like, he's not hurt. I'm not hurt. That's what really matters. So he tells me, go sleep it off. I'll deal with this tomorrow. I'll make an insurance claim. You were very forthcoming, even though he told me, he's like, we all young, we all fuck up. Could have been worse, So he's being realistic. He's calm now. He's realistic with me. We're actually talking man to man and just having respect for the situation and trying to move forward with it instead of being hung up on, well, I was wrong and fuck this, fuck that. So we're cool now. And this guy I'm talking, he's probably old enough to be my dad. You know what I mean? Maybe younger than my dad, but in his 40s, something like that. And I'm fucking 21-year-old, 22-year-old dickhead. So he goes back around. He drives away. I go up to my house. I couldn't sleep for a while because I was like, man. But then I passed out because I was drunk, even though I didn't feel it anymore. And I, perks and all that. So I pass out. I wake up. And I go look out at my SUV. At this point in time, I was driving a Chevy Blazer, old model. Nice John though. Blacked out, tinted, black rims. It was nice. I liked it. And I was so upset, man, because I didn't even have that car for maybe a month, something like that, couple weeks, something like that. It was an embarrassing amount of time to do that shit with that car, man. But both of our shits wasn't totaled. It looked bad though. Like cosmetically, my shit was just annoying to look at. It was just an eyesore. Like my front left, driver's side, I should say. If you're looking at the car, the driver's side headlights, blinker lights were smashed and torn like out. Like you could see the wiring and shit in there. And it was just like, yeah, like this is back when all cars were still metal. Well, this car was when they made them just heavy. So his car looked way worse than mine, but just the metal was bent and like my hood didn't shut all the way on the one side. It was just, man, it sucked, bro. So I'm just out there looking at my car the next morning, mad as a motherfucker, man. I'm mad as a motherfucker. And I'm disappointed. I'm mad at myself. I'm just like, but I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna deal with this. I go to a body shop, like, you know what I mean? Do I go to a junkyard? What do I do? So I'm just out there just looking at my car, scratching my head with my nuts in my hand, right? You know what I mean? Like, just looking defeated, basically. And don't you know, in the 5 minutes that I came out there, Upper Dublin police officer, I lived right outside of Philly in a neighborhood called the North Hills. And Upper Dublin Township police is who patrolled it. And so cop pulls up to me, gets out of his car. And then I'm like, how the fuck? Like, what's going on? And he's like, hey, Howard. And I'm like, how do you know my name? He apparently knew me because I was around that neighborhood enough and hung out with people who cops really knew. So they apparently knew like my face and like my first name base, some of them, like detectives and shit like that. We'll get into why and all that stuff on another video, whatever. So he says, Howard. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I forget how the conversation started out. And he's like, basically introduces himself. He says, I'm Lieutenant Dan Wade. And I'm like, nice to meet you. And he's like, yeah, so what happened last night? And I'm like, you know what happened, I guess, right? Like, he's like, well, I'm glad nobody was hurt. And I am glad that, you know, you stopped and did the right thing and took accountability for your actions. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, I appreciate it. Like, I appreciate it. Damn, she's fine. I'm pulling into the gym. Like, I always say it. I come for the workout, but I stay for the baddies, man. I stay for the women, man. What am I saying? Officer Dan Wade. He's like, I'm not gonna try to lecture you. What's already done is done. You know, I hope you learned something from this. But I don't even know why he's here still at this point. I'm like, the cops, he didn't call the cops that last night when we handled this. So why are you pulling up to me looking at my car right now? It was just the weirdest timing on how he just pulled up. And I'm like, so what happened? He's like, well, he made a police report later on, and you know, he's not upset with you anymore. He's upset with Casey. And I'm like, well, why? Like, she didn't hit him or anything. Like, what? Like, they almost fought, or she was trying to fight him. They almost, but nothing happened. And I thought they kind of cooled off. Was like, my bad, you know, whatever. So turns out Casey had the bright idea to act like she was cool and cool down with my mans. But she actually lived basically right down the street from where that happened. Same block. She walks up to his block, same street, hours later, I guess, 4 or 5 in the morning. For whatever reason, slashes all 4 of this man's tires. All 4 of them. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why did you, when it wasn't even your beef, it wasn't even your situation, involve yourself to the point of retaliation of something that we weren't even wronged? I wronged this man. We're in the wrong. I'm in the wrong. And you're retaliating on him being rightfully angry and confrontational? The nerve. I mean, I think it goes without saying we weren't really like we know, I don't even know where this person is now, but we didn't really stay friends that long. But we grew up with each other just doing degenerate shit. So she did that, and he apparently wakes up to it, and he hears it, like the hissing, because like she stabbed it and it popped and then hissed. So he hears that shit and goes out, sees her running down the street apparently. That's why he called the police. And he told about the situation prior, obviously, of why it happened. And so Dan Wade knows this, and he doesn't tell me exactly why he asked about Kenzie. And I'm like, well, what happened with that? And he's like, well, just if you see her, she needs to come either like turn herself in or whatever, something like that. Because I mean, it's destruction of property. Like, that's illegal. You can't do that. And we all know it was her. He's seen her. You know what I mean? She's already been in the system as well. Like, the cops know her name too. So, long story short, or no, there's still one more part of the story. So me and him talked for a little bit. Dan Wade is kind of like being a nice guy. Like, he's really being a cool old school cop about this. I'm talking, this guy's probably, this man's probably in his mid 50s, late 50s maybe even. Short white guy, straight shooter though. Listen, I've been on the wrong sides of the law for a long, good part of my life, but there is some cops that are straight shooters and do their job the right way, and he's one of them. Because Dan Wade was saying, I am not here to get you in trouble. That would have happened last night if Mr. Dre called the cops. But that's not why I'm here. Why I'm here is to resolve and make sure there's not an issue in the neighborhood between neighbors and keeping the peace. There's no back and forth anymore. There's no keep on retaliating. And he said that, you know, if Kenzie was just honest and, you know, or didn't do that, well, she obviously did it, but now they couldn't find her because they knocked on her door and shit like that. She wasn't there. So, you know, he's like, the consequences aren't going to be as deep as she thinks probably. I'm not here to put anybody in jail. That's not what I'm about. I'm here to see if she can pay him back, find some type of payment plan, whatever, even if it doesn't go into the court system. But obviously, you know, it probably would. It'd be like a civil suit at that point instead of getting her arrested. You know what I mean? That's the route he was trying to go. To try to encourage, I should say. So he says, you know, nobody got hurt, and that's what's important. I know there was some drinking and driving going on last night. But that's, you know, that was then, and this is now, even though it's next morning. I'm here to make sure everybody gets along and is safe. And that's what real policing's all about to me. Those words stuck with me. I don't know why. I can picture this man saying that right now, because bits and pieces of that conversation, that 10-minute conversation we had, whatever. I just remember that key point that he said to me. He said, that is what real policing is all about. Keeping people safe and making sure people are peaceful. And I really freaking admired that. You know what I mean? Because prior to that, my interactions with police officers weren't the greatest. They just weren't. And not every time, but you know, it's my doing too. If I'm doing the wrong things, you know, but cops can go, you know, we all know this, you know, we all know what I'm going to say. But so Dan Wade says, you know, just try to do better, man. But encouraging me, you know. He's like, it's not the end of the world. Pick yourself back up. go sleep it off, you know, go get some rest, and you know, just try to, you know, move forward with the situation in a positive way. Um, and so then what happened was I went inside and looked at my phone. I didn't even look at my phone when I first I just walked out and looked at my truck. I'm like, I guess I like woke up thinking like, oh man, I hope that was a dream or something. Cause I woke out like looking at my, like going out to look at my truck, and the first thing in the morning, like it wasn't going to be like, it might have went away overnight or some shit. Or if it was still like, I don't know if it really happened, if it really looked like that, and how bad was it. So I come back in and my phone's dead because like I was so drunk, passed out, whatever, didn't even charge it. Turn it on, and then I get all my notifications. I get I think like 2 or 3 text messages from, because me and Dre had exchanged for cell phone numbers. And he said, hey man, like I wasn't trying to, basically the texts were like, yeah, I wasn't trying to get the police involved, but I gotta let you know I just did because your girl decided to come up in the middle of the night and slash my tires. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You know, I'm like, come on, bro. And so she did that, whatever. And I'm like, that's basically the end of the story. No, it's not. There was one more. Went around the corner to talk to him, walked around the corner. And I don't know what we were talking about at first, just with the car situation. And I was like, you know, and it was my first time talking to this man sober. So I was like, you know, that last night, you know, this is me, my clear-headed state, you know. So he's like, yeah, you know, we're talking about it, this tire slashing situation. And I'm like, I don't know what to do but say I'm sorry times 10, times 100. Because not only did I just do this to his car, but now he can't even drive his car now. It was drivable, but now he can't even, his tires are all flat. He's sitting on 4 flats. So I feel like Kinsey had called me or texted me or at some point, like randomly, like while I'm there. So I called this motherfucker. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, man, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, Officer Wade came and talked to me about you. I'm talking to my mans right now. And you know what, Dre, he was still saying it's no hard feelings. The man, the balls and the forgiveness, like this guy was a jacked, you could tell this man was not about no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He was a big dude. Probably could have fucked me up if he wanted to. Could have definitely fucked Kinsey up. You know what I'm saying? And Kinsey's a stocky broad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she can fight men. You know what I'm saying? But he would have, man. But this man turned into one of the most forgiving, nicest guys. And understanding guys. Gave me the benefit of the doubt. Gave her the benefit of the doubt. Said, I'm not going to, you know, press any charges. And he also got notified that his insurance was going to cover his tires. That's why she didn't have to pay him back. He's like, I don't want nothing from you. I just want you to know that I'm looking out for you right now. Because even though my insurance said da-da-da, they'll cover it. I can still get your ass locked up or in some type of trouble. Like, and I don't even know. We ended up smoking cigarettes together and everything. This guy said he didn't even smoke. I pulled out a cigarette and he was like, give me one of them things, man. Like, it was just, it was one of the most roller coasterous situations with a probation officer at that, and was rooting for me at the end. Because like I said, he was extremely pissed, comes back down, you know, to being able to put himself in my shoes, I guess, and look out. He looked out. I would have been, and I ended up violating my probation twice later on anyway. So I went back to jail anyway. But this would have been the first strike. This would have been a bad first strike too. So it was just, yeah, it was one of them things, man, where it was it didn't even, unfortunately, make me learn my lesson wholeheartedly, because I still would drink and I still would do pills after that. And I actually went to this man for advice after like I knew I had to see my PO and I knew I was gonna piss dirty. And he was like, "Yo, Howard, what are you doing, man? Like, get it, like, you have a chance. Like you could have got locked up that night. You could have, but what are you doing, man? Like, you're better than this." He straight up, I can see it. He's like, "I can see it. You're better than this, man. So you need to see it and start acting like it." And I said, in reply, I was like, "You know what? You're right, man." But this took me a long time to actually do that. It took me a long time to actually put myself and others first, because like it could have turned out way worse. I could have been going faster. I could have hurt. Could have been kids in the car. It could have been worse, man. God forbid. I'm so glad I haven't hurt anybody from the times that I would be drinking and driving, or on drugs or whatever. So I don't condone drinking and driving. It's not worth it, yo. Like, and this was back in the day where like Ubers wasn't really a thing yet. It was like a year or two before Uber was invented. It was like, yeah, it was like maybe invented like the same year. So it wasn't a thing though. Regardless, back then I wasn't thinking like that anyway. I was just like I said, degenerate. Fucking drink 12 beers, shots, whatever, go home, drive home. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm only around the corner, you know? That accident happened around the corner. So I am a testament of, it can happen anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're close to home, on the highway. You know what I mean? People think just because they're in like a residential neighborhood, you know what I mean, that it can't happen or it's less likely to happen. It happens, man. And it can be deadly, but this one, luckily, like I said, it was no injuries. Everybody was cool at the end of the day. His car was taken care of. I didn't go to jail that night or the next day. And then I actually ended up getting my truck, I had to pay a deductible or something like that. And then they fixed my all my body work was fixed from the body shop. And it wasn't too bad of a deductible. So it worked out at the end. It did kind of work out. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, I mean, that's that story, man. It's pretty straightforward story. It's a wild one because, like I said, the irony of being on probation and so worried about not getting a DUI or whatever, reckless driving too, you know, and causing an accident because of, and doing it to a probation officer. And not only does that, he is a probation officer, but he probation officer that lives behind my street. What's the chances, man? And the fact that he was so cool, because like as soon as he said a PO, I'm like, oh man, this guy's definitely fucking me over. I'm fucked. He's getting me. He's calling the police and my probation officer, saying, "Roof that man, give him a 11.5 to 23 off the rip." You know what I mean? No first, second strike. That's what I thought I was gonna get. And he actually ended up being a blessing, man, because I learned from that situation later after I matured a little bit. I look back on that situation and I'm like, yo, man, there's good guys out there. There's good police officers, Dan Wade. There's good probation officers that are rooting for people to do better for themselves and don't want people to get locked up. Young black man to get locked up. I know I look white, you know, I'm light-skinned, y'all. I'm super light-skinned. I am mixed. I'm half black, half white, but you know how that goes, a one drop rule, whatever. He's like, I don't want to see another black man, a young black man, be put back in jail or whatever over something that could be resolved and nothing irreversible happened. Which was, like I said, this man was a blessing and it taught me a lot. I hope you enjoyed the story if you watch him. I'm hoping you maybe learn something or just some insight. So that's all I got really today, y'all. I'm about to go get this workout in and enjoy the day, y'all. Stay up, man. This is also day 3. I'm still on day 3 of not smoking cannabis. So pray for me, y'all. Like I'm trying to just better myself. I'm trying to better myself when it comes to my mind, body, soul type shit. Like I've even started praying more again and everything. So I hope you all enjoyed the story. God bless.